morning, everyone. I, Madhura Kadgeri, the Alumni Coordinator from the batch of 1921, would like to take this opportunity to kickstart our flagship event for the year, Netritva. Michael Jordan once rightly said, obstacles don't have to stop you. If you run into a wall, don't turn up and give up. Figure out how to climb it, go through it, or walk around it. And I believe these lines beautifully encompass the idea behind our event today. Annually, the Grand Alumni Reunion, or more popularly known by its acronym GAR, is an event that everyone from our Iift alumni fraternity eagerly anticipates every year. An event of celebration, galore, and reminiscence. A day where the gates of the Indian Institute of Foreign Trade open up to welcome back all of you. A day where the essence of GAR is what we wanted to encapsulate and emulate in this kind of a virtual setting to the best of our abilities. And that is why we are now kickstarting Netritva, and we have an entire lineup of activities under this umbrella. Iift since 1963 has hosted incredible students whose journeys remain inspirational to every single one of us. We, the students of Iift, are extremely proud to be a part of this legacy. Netritva is our endeavor to celebrate the legacy that this institute stands on, its rich, diverse alumni base. As we stand here on the cusp of the International Women's Day, Netritva is our effort in celebrating Iift's alumni, their contributions, their journeys, their immense grit, and their stories. We welcome each and every one of you and thank you for taking out time and being part of this special day. We have an exuberant lineup slotted for the day, and we are more than excited to host you. Hope you have a wonderful time, and on behalf of the Alumni Relations Committee and the students of Iift, I welcome you all to Netritva, a virtual rendition of GAR.
Thank you, Madhura. Now I would like to request Dr. Neeti Nandini, Head, Division of Alumni Affairs, to deliver her address.
Thank you, Akshay and Madhura. Namaste, respected Director of Iift, Dr. Manoj Pant, Dean of Academics, Dr. Satinder Bhatia, and all my Iift colleagues who joined us virtually today, the awardees, and the alumni and students of Iift to whom this day of reunion is dedicated. As you know, I have been entrusted with the responsibility to head the Division of Alumni Affairs just a month back. Iift is revered as one of India's best business schools, and the Institute is extremely proud of the accomplishments of its alumni fraternity. I'm excited to work for taking this part of Iift's achievements forward as much as I am to be hosting all of you today for this flagship event of the year, Netritva, which is a virtual rendition of the Grand Alumni Reunion. While the past 1 year has challenged us in many unexpected ways, the Alumni Relations Committee has worked swiftly to pivot this into an opportunity to explore new ideas, new way of doing things, and to strengthen ties with our alumni base even further. Our newsletter, Aluminati, has found constant support and readership with the alumni base. We will be unveiling a special edition of this newsletter today, where our alumni talk about the changing trends in the industry and how Iift has helped them chart their career paths and shape their success stories. Guest lectures, which form an important part of student life at Iift, have been continued online through the Aspire and Envision series, removing the burden of alumni having to travel to the campus. We have connected with the alumni across the globe, and the students have benefited immensely from the practical knowledge brought by the industry stalwarts and entrepreneurs alike. Our video podcast series, Ka Rang, is also an outcome of our efforts to continue to engage with our alumni despite all obstacles. The topics revolve around leadership, career highlights, entrepreneurship, and insights into respective domains of alumni. So far, Tarang has been graced by some extremely notable alumni, reaching innumerable people and garnering views and responses on our social media handles. To keep our alumni apprised of activities undertaken at the Institute and to streamline communication amongst the batches, we kickstarted the Batch Ambassador program in December 2020. I'm delighted to inform you that in the first try we were able to onboard 32 batches across multiple programs of IFT. We request you to come forward to provide impetus to this effort. Since being set up in 1963, IFT has created a distinguished place for itself through its academic programs, training and research productivity, and also through its alumni who have achieved success and laurels in many diverse fields, and its students who are competent, confident, and capable of walking on the paths illuminated by their seniors. To enhance its position among the top business schools of the country and to remain resilient through times of crisis and disruptions, IFT works relentlessly to upgrade its offerings. We will encourage our alumni to extend their support in that direction. Alumni endowment funds are an established concept in premier schools in developed nations, and IFT will appreciate contributions to such an endowment fund from its alumni. Today, our alumni team has tried to replicate the ethos of the Grand Alumni Reunion in a virtual mode, Netritva. Netritva is a profound attempt to celebrate the bond our alumni share with the alma mater, and on the eve of International Women's Day, we take pride in presenting stories of grit and success of some of our alumni through a panel discussion themed Stories Unsaid and Unheard. I hope you will enjoy the program and that the alumni team has organized passionately. We will look forward to our on-campus activities as before once the situation allows us. Until then, we will work to make our digital presence stronger. Have a great day today, reminiscing, enjoying, and wanting. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Neeti ma'am. Next up, I would like to invite our director, Professor Manoj Pant, to deliver the welcome address for the event.
Thank you, and welcome to Mr. Shidhar and their families who are there with them today in possibly the first offline event we've held in a very limited way, of course, since March last year. Also welcome to all of you who are out there. I know that we are hopefully beaming to some people outside the country too. The alumni outside the country are quite involved in this event. So those of you who are still awake in some parts of the world, and hopefully those in Singapore who are there, let me tell you that this little event, which of course Neeti talked about, and the alumni team, this we have done for the first time in this fashion. So far, since I joined, I have been surprised. I also come from institutions myself. I did my graduation in statistics and Delhi School of Economics and study outside. I know alumni associations are much more involved than the limited involvement of the alumni here in terms of the one big dinner at the end of the year, and then of course the placements. I mean, that is not really what alumni can do or should only do as far as the institute is concerned. And there are a number of reasons for that. One reason is the changing landscape. You know, I am of the view, you in industry may agree recently, that maybe another 5-6 years down the line, 2-year MBAs will be passing. No one's going to do 2 years. People don't have time to do 2-year MBAs. Who's got time to wait 2 years? In 2 years, technology can change. The man might start flying in 2 years and 8 years. So it becomes very important for, in one sense, IIT to start recreating itself. We have in our last meeting of the BOM also, the members said, look, let's start talking about the vision. As I'm very happy that someone's talking about vision, because I don't know what IIT is planning 5 years from now. So everyone, I'm here for a limited time, I'm gone, but the institute goes on forever. And you have to think ahead of what's going to happen, not just the usual 2-year MBA and this graduate program. So alumni are a very critical part of it. I know they are critical to us in terms of helping us with the placements. I know that's important. That's not the only thing. I think we need a more regular association alumni, and that's why I formed this division, which is a full-fledged division own right, headed by a professor, Professor Neeti. and she will dedicate her time only to this. As part of this, I also formed an Alumni Advisory Committee, and we had an earlier chat with the alumni. And I said, look, I may talk about it because that's going to be the need of the hour. One of the needs of the hour is going to be funding in future, because as you know, we are self-financed and lots of issues of maintenance, issues of new initiatives. We have a new campus, which, by the way, the good news is, as of Friday, our campus has been cleared to go by the AGT and the management board. So hopefully another 20 months, maximum 2 years, the second campus of Iift will be ready by the 110. It's a pretty big campus and very well managed. Now, that's one. So having said all this, what are you going to do in these campuses? Are you simply going to keep on replicating now 300, now 400, now 600? I mean, that is not the way to go. On top of that, as you're aware, the new education policy is now being implemented. Well, we're still waiting for the details, but it does envisage us from being just standard management institution to be an education institution. That is much more. What do we do for that? It's not something that I alone should or could do on my own. It needs a number of advice, and alumni are a very important part of that advice. Now, in this advisory committee member, we named a number of people. We've talked to people. We quickly mentioned the name: Mr. Rajiv Gatte, PGDIT 84, Dr. Venkat, PGDIT 85, Mr. Manu Chopra, MBA 94, Mr. Neeraj Dhingra, MBA 1993, Mr. Himanshu Sarin in the USA, MBA IB 2008, and Mr. Bhavna Nanavati, MBA Julius Baer, Swiss private bank. Now, so we have Neeraj, Himanshu, and Bhavna, right, from outside, and the others are within the country. Now, what is this committee going to do? It is not just till they discuss some of the issues. The issue is not a question of only raising money. That's important. We have many things coming up here. Software, hardware, lots of upgradations has to be done. But there's much more than that. Periodically, we'll have a meeting. They will interact more with Niti than with me, but also with me. We will discuss, okay, so what are your ideas? Now, that does not mean that the advisory group has become an alternative executive committee of the university, which is looking into how its funds are financed. That is not something which is the job, but to give ideas. Now, that's as far as I want to say about the alumni, because it's the first meeting under the head of the alumni division as such. This will be a full-time division. It will carry on. The other activities of placement, etc., will carry on. Guest lectures, maybe some. We already know many of you do give guest lectures when you're passing in. They're part of our mandate to have industry. But we need you to give us ideas. Now, not all those ideas will be implemented. But there are ideas that go into a desk. They go into a file. And the advisory committee can also meet once in a while to think of ideas. And every time, problem with most advisory groups is that every time you give an advice, they think that next day is going to be implemented. No, these become a bank. And you pull on these as and when these ideas become more and more, but these ideas must relate to the future of Iift, where Iift is going to be 5 years, 10 years from now. Now, having said this, let me come back to the subject matter of this. And of course, we have our distinguished alumni, as you already know, we have announced. Yes. I will read that you will announce, but let me tell you the background. Dr. Izzy announced the background of the actual names, which is done conventionally always by the head of alumni. But my job is to tell you the thinking that went into adding an additional category this year. The feeling has been coming in the jury meeting from last year, and we are a very distinguished jury, which is some people from the government, from private sector, very senior leaders. And the idea is to find, of course, the distinguished alumni is obviously, we have known metrics, it's an old award. But the newer award we introduced this year was the entrepreneur. And they felt that this year, when so much is being stressed on startups and how people do new things, why don't we award someone from an Iift who would have taken some of the learnings from it, started something new and actually succeeded in it? And I have been trying very hard, and let me throw the idea again now for the fourth time, I think, or third time, fourth time, whatever. That we are very keen to also have a startup culture here. It is not only for the startup industry, it's also for our students. Final year students could sort of, log into this, if you want to call it startup systems. I'm also quite happy to provide a space on the campus, but we've got to be running, it has to be running efficient. There has to be some funding of the startups, simple as technical assistance, and then how exactly do you do it? And people keep saying, why don't you start from Calcutta has done it? I said, but startups have to be done by the business people, not by me. On a more lighter way, if I could have started a business and done very well, maybe I wouldn't have been here today in the first place. Same thing with teachers. We can teach about startup, does not necessarily mean we're very good at doing it ourselves. As I once read in that famous book by Robert Kiyosaki, which I'm sure everyone has read, you don't know how to make money unless you lost your first million. After you lose your money, only then you learn what it means to make money. Whereas we are trained to save money. We middle class believe that the more you save money, the more you make it, which of course is contrary to all business principles, but that's how we are trained. So I said, no, we need alumni to be involved in it. That doesn't mean they've got to sit at the desk, but they've got to be integrally involved with the purpose and the setup of this startup, which I'm happy to give you space. I'm happy to give you some, but we will need some, if you want to call it seed funding to start going. There has to be something has to work. I can give you the hardware, I can give you the room, etc. I can give you the secular system, but we've got to have some kind of initial funding to make it start. And but alumni should certainly have their own interest. I can offer this to many organizations, we can be happy to have this space, but that I don't want. It has to be an Iift alumni, but not only, so it has to be run by the alumni. It can be other people involved in it, but the pushing force from outside must come from there. Of course, we are BT here from within. Iift will be there for it, but the outside the alumni must be involved in running. They are the ones who establish the contacts, not us. They are the ones who know what businesses will work, but everything doesn't work. It's not that today I start a startup and next month I'm running to the dealership to buy a Mercedes. It doesn't work like that. It takes a long time. People fail in what they do, start something new. How do you work that? You get learning for our second year students who can possibly sit in some time and come and sit in space, which may be very often empty, but that's our startup space. But an alumni has to come forward, and I've tried hard to get people to at least take it forward. I hope the advisory committee would think, well, that's something that's taking forward. Please benefit from it. It's something that you can do. Think of it as an R&D effort which you are not paying for. It's like a public good for anyone in business who wants to do it. It's there's a facility there are people, young people come with ideas, there are business out there looking for ideas but don't necessarily want to fund more and more R&D centers. Let them be maybe the alumni will gain by it. Maybe you as an alumni will actually gain your business. Please feel free to do so. But let this startup come as something which is pushed by the alumni. Okay, I won't take you long, and again, welcome to our bodies. And I now pass over to Niti and remind you once again that please, those of you out there, because unfortunately due to the pandemic, we couldn't have a bigger function. And as I said, this is the first offline, even limited function that we've had since March this year. But hopefully at some point of time, we'll see you as part of some alumni dinner on campus, hopefully once this pandemic and God allows us to do so. And of course the NDMA, let's not forget the Delhi District Disaster Management Authority. Once they allow us to do so, we'll have maybe a bigger function, but keep these two things in mind. That is what an alumni should do. It's not just this once a year giving this award and that's it. That's a very important sort of recognition of the efforts of our students. But it's much more than that. It is also telling us the way forward. And as I told you that in the next 1 or 2 years while I'm still here, the focus of almost discussion with the alumni will be on these ways forward. It's a mandate from our BOM too that we look forward. It's a mandate from the government that there's a new education policy. And things have to change. You just cannot be business as usual in any kind of education institution, certainly also not in management institutions. So with these words, let me welcome again the awardees to campus. I'm glad Iift has got the chance to firsthand see the campus. Welcome again to a few students who have been, I haven't seen their faces since they joined, but good. Hopefully we'll see them again in better times. Also, congratulations to Netritva for organizing this. And for all of you out there, please, we'll have you once again on campus. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I would now like to request Dr. Nidhi to announce the prestigious Alumnus of the Year awards.
Yes, thank you, Akshay. So it's my pleasure to announce the prestigious Alumnus of the Year awards, and this time in two categories. So the first one, which is in the corporate leadership category. For his exceptional work as a member of the Indian Administrative Service of the Government of India and for leading campaigns in the area of environment as Special Secretary in the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Dr. Anil Jain, an alumnus of the 1985 Postgraduate Diploma in International Trade batch of Iift, is awarded Alumnus of the Year Award 2020 in the Corporate Leadership category. Presently posted as Secretary in the Ministry of Coal, Dr. Jain has over 3 decades of administrative experience at the field level and at the policy formulation levels, and he has held senior positions in the central and state governments in multiple ministries including Environment, Planning, Commission, Niti Aayog, and Petroleum and Natural Gas. He has authored a book, Natural Gas in India, Policy and Liberalization, published by the Oxford University Press in 2012. And he continues to write on energy-related topics in various journals. During 2012-2017, as head of the Energy Division of the Niti Aayog, he has led the team that drafted the National Energy Policy 2017 to 2040 and also developed the Energy Scenario Modeling Tool IESS 2047. Dr. Jain has led Indian delegations to the Energy and Climate Working Group of G20 for 5 years, from 2012 to 2017 under different presidencies. I request Madhura to welcome Dr. Jain with the bouquet, please. It is now my pleasure. It's now my pleasure to invite him to receive the prestigious Alumni of the Year, Alumnus of the Year award, and I request our director to kindly present the award. Sir, please. You can do it here, I think. Where would be better? Camera specialist here. Yes, please get it. Indian tradition. Dr. Jain, we want you to come back again for your acceptance speech and to talk to us about your journey after Iift.
I don't.
Yes.
Good morning, friends. At the outset, let me thank the director, the faculty, and members of the jury committee for having bestowed this award on me. I'm really delighted. I live in Delhi and do get occasions to travel here to see this campus, but to come here today and to be awarded by the very institute which groomed me to become what I am. It's really an honor. Thank you very much. I also want to thank my parents, my wife, and my children who are here, and the batch of 85 for giving me the confidence, for supporting me, and they really encouraged me to go all out. And all these years that we've been in touch, it's a great batch, and my thanks to them as well. And of course, to the students of the institute and the bigger family of the alumni of the institution for hosting me and listening to me, the little message that I might have. I never thought that I would get this award, because business schools and Iift in particular, they stand for entrepreneurship and grooming people to create wealth and entrepreneurship, of course. So having gone into public service, well, I did do a lot of business assignments, industry assignments. Initially, as of course, as you all know, I spent in the districts as district magistrate and SDMs in the backwaters of India. So all along I thought that, this award but personally I thought that this education had really benefited me all along the way. But I was not an entrepreneur in the classical sense. So by honoring me, I'm really grateful to the institute that perhaps, to my mind, they're sending out a very bold message to all of us who want to public service, coming from various walks of life. I did my MBA before I came to this institution, and quite a few of my batch, I was telling Professor Aniti, and some of us may be logged in and gone into academics. They've gone into public service per se. So it's really a very loud message, and I'm very grateful, and it will encourage people in the public services to be recognized as entrepreneurs, as corporate leaders in their own way. I've been asked to make a few remarks on my journey after Iift. I thought about it, and some of my friends, my own colleagues from my batch who were awarded, they're very interesting stories of having started as small time in export houses, developing vendors or doing marketing abroad. And their stories are really scintillating, how some of them sold off the little jewels that they had in the family to set up the businesses. But if I start talking, I was a DM in so-and-so district, and then I was a deputy secretary, then I was in the planning commission. It may not sound very interesting, it will be a good story, but I thought that my basic address is to the students of the Iift, and maybe some little nuggets, some little experiences along the way. Do I have that experience? Well, yes. Somewhat, I spent a lot of time in commercial ministries in the commerce sector. I have spent the last 17 years in energy, petroleum, natural gas. I have served on the boards from the largest public sector companies like ONGC. Right now, as Secretary Coal, I do look after the world's largest coal company, as you know, Coal India Limited. So some of the experiences in negotiating, in dealing with foreign governments and multinational institutions. So maybe I have a few stories which I could share with you. Perhaps maybe some of my experiences, the domestic experiences and international experiences of how does the training community in general relate to the Indian government. Being an insider, maybe I can share a few things with you. And as a part of the Indian government, when I took the trade delegations from here and dealt with the international community, so that is so let me see if I can pull out something interesting, some 2 to 3 points on both sides. Let's take the international dimensions first. My first experience is that all of you guys are very lucky. You are landing on the international scene when India is the flavor of the world. I remember 2003 when I joined Government of India in the Petroleum Ministry, and I would go to participate in delegations, in conferences abroad. I was sitting somewhere in the corner and I would raise my hand to make a statement. But we were not major buyers, we were not economically prosperous and strong, and wouldn't get that notice. Suddenly, in the last 10 years or so, if India is not there in a discussion forum or in a session, then something is missing. These institutions, like IIF for that matter, IIF was set up in 1973 as a response of the Arab Israeli crisis when the US and other countries were denied oil supplies. So it became a club of the OECD. And the last 5-10 years they realized that if major buyers like India and China are not there on the table, then that negotiation is worthless. So times have really changed, and we are lucky that India is today the flavor. Second, little experience which I had, the global economic order, maybe the trade and commerce, it should have had some little of softness in between, but I find a lot of commerciality to your engagement. As they say, there's a big world out there, be careful. So in the economic order, maybe my experiences of the earlier decade and now the recent decade is different. I find that there's nothing like softness, there's nothing like North camaraderie or South camaraderie. I think business interest, commerce, it rules the roost. To give you an example, as a part of the oil and gas ministry, I used to travel to many of these nations from where we get our oil supplies and where India has ONGC has gone and bought acreages. Venezuela is one such country. Now, the American refineries, oil and gas refineries, were based on the Venezuelan crude. It's a different kind of crude. It's very heavy. And PDVSA, their ONGC, to draw a corollary, they supply crude to the US, and a lot of refineries and petrol pumps are situated on that basis. Now, Chavez, at one point of time, who had problems with Bush, he had said that I'll give $1 million if somebody gets me in the head of Mr. Bush. But they continue to buy that oil and businesses prosper. So similarly, in Europe, the Second World War saw almost 18 million deaths in the Second World War within Europe. But today, you get oranges from Spain being sent across to Germany. You have cheese coming from the Netherlands and being consumed in Italy and South. So to my mind, you have to have that consciousness that trade, be a professional, and especially coming from the government, when we see that how do we engage with the rich countries, it's maybe a nuclear deal, maybe a defense deal. I can't get into all those, but I think Professor Pant, who has done so much work in international school, international studies, he would tell you that. Thirdly, something alluding to Sridhar, who is here, and to our alumni who spread all over the world. I think our Indian diaspora, I was just Googling it yesterday, and I saw that it's the largest diaspora of any other country. So they are a huge strength for us. And when you step out into the trading world, bank on them, your culture is similar, there'll be friendliness. So, Indian government itself is reaching out. I remember there was a deal in Colombia. ONGC wanted to buy an asset and it was owned by an Indian. So the Chinese were also going for it. But the Indian entrepreneur there, the owner, said, I will not give it to you unless you have the ONGC also on board. So these are, there was a time when India was losing all its bids to acquire oil acreages, and there was a discussion that what is the matter. But I think if you relate to the diaspora, you will. So these are very, very small, 2-3 points in my limited way. Coming to the Indian engagement, which I know much better. Firstly, India is increasingly becoming a part of the global supply chain. The Prime Minister's call in the last few years of Atmanirbhar Bharat and Make in India, let's not be under any confusion. We are very sure it's Make in India for India and Make in India for abroad. So this is a very fertile time for the trade community and for all of you who are coming out of the Iift. Secondly, when you set up trading centers or you join trading businesses in India, you need to relate to DGFT, you need to relate to so many people from the districts all the way up. This is not an advocacy because I'm first a student here and then anything else. Let me tell you, have faith, don't suspect, Be confident about your engagement with the government. So many kids have come to me in planning commission and otherwise even now in my present assignment as young professionals. India borrowed this YP concept of the World Bank, and we get fresh, greenhorn children and train them for 2 years. They get so surprised that government is so open, government is so friendly. The government is very fast. When your telephone connection doesn't work, we used to blame the DOT. When the electricity supply would go, fast, we would again be upset. But at the same time, in the pandemic, we've all seen how the medical fraternity of India responded, how the Professor Pant alluded to the National Disaster Management Agency handling, our country for 1.3 billion through lockdowns and maintaining essential supplies. So the more you engage with the government, and don't forget that policy making is not an easy task. We need to be abreast with the present time. We need top quality advice. So you have to engage with the government and give them the input that they need. And the third point and the last point, that one big agenda which is sweeping the world and will impact India more than anybody else is the climate change agenda. Since I've spent so many years in energy, I couldn't do without relating to it in some way. You see, Indian energy system is poised for a massive growth. You'll be surprised to know that in the developed world, the energy consumption actually coming down. Electricity consumption is slightly increasing because they're electrifying their demand. But in India, be it solid fuel, liquid fuel, gaseous fuel, our per capita numbers are abysmal. Electricity, we are 1/3 of the global average. In total energy, primary energy, again, we are 1/3. We need to grow energy systems, and we will grow them in an efficient way. We will grow them in a green way. We'll bring in a lot of energy efficiency and renewables. Climate change is going to impact agriculture, habitat is going to impact everything. Water supply, rainfall, we all know. But the energy system, so this is a big opportunity for you. There's a big opportunity for a diaspora that you bring in the technologies, bring in how the new building should be constructed. Electric mobility is much talked about, battery charging stations, but in all sectors of our economy, there is going to be a huge opportunity. Let's take climate change as, and coming from Secretary Coal, so the fact of the matter is that coal has got to see a demise. Now, whether it will happen in 5 years, 10, 15 years is a matter of study. So these were my little thoughts. Friends, I passed out in '85, and in the last, 35, 36 years, I've been in the government, done all kinds of postings, as you have heard. But whatever I am today, it's because of my gurus, it's because of my parents, it's the education which was passed on to me. I also went for summer trainings, and somebody coached me and trained me. And this is what we need to pass on to you. And I'm always very keen to take on children and to pass on. So today, whatever little, I thought a lot as to, I normally don't write my speeches, but today I wrote a few points because I thought I must give you something which may make sense to you. So the future is yours. The country looks forward to your contribution. India's future lies in your hands, and you're willing to pass on, and you're passing on the way to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Jain. Very encouraging words for the students. We now move to the Alumnus of the Year 2020 award in the entrepreneurship category. And for his outstanding achievements as an entrepreneur, Mr. Sridhar Srinivasan, an alumnus of the 2006 Executive Masters in International Business batch of Iift, is awarded the Alumnus of the Year 2020 award in the entrepreneurship category. As co-founder and CEO of Web Plastics Company, a Texas-based US corporation, and with over 30 years of expertise in flexible packaging industry, Mr. Srinivasan is known for his visionary, entrepreneurial, and driven personality. He has strong leadership skills, specializes in both startup and scale growth stage operations, has successfully founded a global distribution company through seed investment and built profitable businesses, established several regional offices throughout the globe to support growth in business, including sales offices in Mexico and sourcing offices in India and China. I request Madhura to please welcome Mr. Srinivasan with the bouquet.
Congratulations.
And it's my pleasure to request the director to please confer the Alumnus of the Year award on Mr. Srinivas.
I received this. Get back to this one.
And Mr. Srinivas, I request you for a speech and to talk about your journey after.
Good morning, Professor Pant, Dr. Aluminati, friends, Dr. Jain. Can't thank you enough for this special recognition, sir. The credit for this entire recognition obviously goes to the feet of God, my late mother, my late grandparents, and my 86-year-old father. It is their upbringing, the good value system made this common man get this recognition. As I say, behind every successful man, I don't know whether I qualify that or not, but there are women behind it. I'm fortunate that I have 3 women behind me. I have Dr. Srividya, my wife, and 2 daughters, Vidvat Arshidhar and Sanvit Arshidhar, who are watching through team from Chicago. And of course, my bright son-in-law, Anirudh Krishnan. It is all their collective support, love, encouragement that has been a source of strength to be where I am today. When you talk about thanking people, how could I go without thanking all the professors who made me where I am today? The list of professors goes on, be it Dr. Pandey, Dr. Sehgal, Professor Anantaraman, Professor Sengupta, Dr. Wadhwa, Professor Ravi Shankar, Dr. Rangaraj, and so on and so forth. It is all their training that has made me where I am today. You know, I've had the privilege of traveling across the globe and visiting different teaching institutions and universities. I can proudly tell you that there is no institution, no teaching university that can come anywhere close to the Iift in the area of international business. I disagree with Dr. Nandi. She says she's a prime institute in India. I'm saying, man, why do you stick to India? Please stretch to the globe. This is Iift. It's really a prestigious institute. I'm so lucky to be part of it, like all of you. You all should be lucky to be part of this great institution. You know, when you get recognition from such institutions, it's not just a recognition. It comes with responsibility. As I stand here, I accept the responsibility of working very closely with the Alumni team, Iift, in whatever manner that I can work and pass on the little that I've learned over these years, and of course learn back from bright students like you all. So it's a two-way process. Also, when you talk about my journey after Iift, I was working for an Indian company selling some packaging films. I had the opportunities of traveling all over the world, looking at different culture, be it Middle East or South America or North America, Europe, Africa. You know, I'm from a common background, and I'm from a very simple and mediocre and middle-income group family. My dad used to work for a company and was always advised that you should work for a company so that on the 30th you get a salary check. I always, my father is my guru. I've always listened to him. So this company was fortunate, I was fortunate that this company posted me to US as the country head, as we were putting in a new capacity and we wanted to sell more products. So I was posted in about New Jersey, yeah, many years ago, and I went as the country head. That made me almost like an entrepreneur, running the business from starting of the corporation, writing the bylaws, identifying the CPA local, bringing business, importing and exporting and selling it. That in a way made me an entrepreneur without being an entrepreneur. It also got me a great opportunity to learn about these safeguard measures. You know, it's easy to export, import, but I'm sure as IITians, you all would be knowing what's called a safeguard measure. There's something called an anti-dumping duty, there's something called countervailing investigation. So Department of Commerce and International Trade Commission, they together were trying to protect the Indian exporting industries for these products. So I had a good 2 years of very solid exposure on how to defend an anti-dumping and a countervailing investigation. And I remember then I came back to IIT. There was a trade commissioner team. So they said, any alumni people can come and talk. I came and talked to them about, I said, how the US government or the Brazilian government would enforce anti-dumping and countervailing investigation and what Indian government can learn, how you could use it. So priceless experience. You know, above all these things, I felt that it is the country's name first, then your credibility second. With these two on your side, you can do anything. So I came back from US in 2003. I was restless. I said, I'm not a great job. But I said, I'm already at perhaps a point of highest complacency. So the only thing that can go is not to go from here. So I went to my dad and I said, Dad, I think I'm going to quit and I'm going to start on my own. He said, no, you shouldn't do that. That's a family, we got to be careful, 30th salaries. I said, Dad, that's fine. Let's assume that that is taken care of. Would you allow me to do that? Be careful, obviously, you know, a loving father always has this advice. But then I took his blessings and went back to the US. And went back to the US. I had some friends, I requested them, I said, would you invest money in an idea that I have? We can set a global distribution company for packaging film. As I said, the company, the country and the individual credibility was reasonably built. They decided to invest money. So today we do business fairly well. We buy from almost all the Asian countries, Japan, Korea, China, Thailand, Taiwan, India, of course. We bring those products and we distribute, we warehouse the products across the nation in the entire North America. And we do the business. The journey has been the best. If I have to take away something from my learning, is that A, whatever you have learned, echoing what Dr. Jane said, have faith and move forward. Build your credibility and work on that further. You know, in an international business, the business that I do, and this is what I think I can talk a little bit. There are 5 factors that you need to know. This is my theory. 1, a good relationship with the customer. 2, a relationship with supplier. 3, money, financing. 4, logistics and supply chain understanding. 5th and very important, the product knowledge. As an entrepreneur, it's very difficult to have all. It's not required to have all. I believe at least you should have 3 out of 5 in your back pocket. And the relationship that you're good in pursuing with the supplier or customer, money should be the last thing to be worried about. If you've got a good plan, there's enough money available. So my journey took off about 12, 13 years ago as an entrepreneur. And I'm glad I took that decision to move as an entrepreneur. There's been a whole lot of learning. You said very correctly, sir, that the rich dad and the poor dad book I read many times. Unless you lose money, you will never make money. So we have had our share of losses, and we have had our share of profits. So to move on and to conclude, I have 3 things that I want to share. One, obviously, I want to thank the committee and the IIT team, the professors, for giving this recognition. 2, I think Professor Pant said about entrepreneurial. I have a very strong view on that, sir. IIFT should move not only simply in preparing professionals, should set up a mechanism to prepare entrepreneurs. Today's entrepreneurs are tomorrow's industrialists. They are tomorrow's global leaders. They contribute to any country's economy and GDP. Granted, professionals are very important. Professionals are welcome. But entrepreneurs are first. They, according to me, form the nerve center of any country, any economy. So as I stand committed here, in any form and manner, if I can be a resource, mentoring or being part of the entrepreneurship team, please come from me, sir. It's a responsibility that I'll adhere to and do my best to fulfill. There are many points that Jane already said, which I fully echo, sir. And I'm so glad to share this recognition along with you, sir. And the last thing, as you said, the full potential of globalization and international business is yet to be seen. There's a huge potential. Dr. Jain said very clearly that India is looked upon as an emerging power. So you have a platform. So A, you're a business that is doing. B, you're a platform from the country's perspective. C, you guys are passing on from one of the most prestigious institutes that is preparing you for international and global business. What else can one ask? Opportunity, platform, skill sets. With that, tell the world that you guys are coming. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Well, that award is something which many of us will be dreaming to get our hands on one day. Our alumni are a true inspiration and the journeys definitely keep us motivated. Moving on, Aluminati, the quarterly alumni newsletter published by the Alumni Relations Committee of Iift, is a sought-after newsletter which features alumni achievements and snippets into the interactions. As a special tribute to Netritva, we are publishing a Netritva edition of Aluminati. In this particular edition, we have an all-women featured edition dedicated to the International Women's Day. Versatile, progressive, dynamic, driven by passion and unwavering, their stories and journeys are surely inspiring and make this edition a very interesting read. I would now like to request the director, Professor Manoj Pant, and Dr. Neeti Nandini, Head Division of Alumni Affairs, to come to the dais and reveal the special edition of this newsletter.
Need a startup if you are going to open these things.
Completed the Women's Day theme. Help him. Can someone help him, please?
Opening this is. How does it work?
It's very, very tight.
Just use rough and ready methods. Right?
Thank you, sir and ma'am. We thank Ms. Rinsi, batch of 2003, Ms. Mohona De, batch of 2012, Ms. Riddhi Ahuja, batch of 2013, Ms. Janvi Prakash, batch of 2013, Ms. Preetika Mehra, batch of 2016, Ms. Deepika Rastogi, batch of 2016, and Ms. Jasleen Dalal, batch of 2017, for contributing to this newsletter and taking out their time for helping us with this edition. Along with these amazing personalities, we also have a couple of campus creations which are featured in this newsletter. We thank you all for taking your time and contributing to this thing. As we draw to the close of this physical event on campus, I would like to request Dr. Neeti Nandini, Head Division of Alumni Affairs, to give a token of thank you from the Alumni Relations Committee to the Director, Professor Manoj Pant. This is a small token of thank you from the team, sir.
This is a gift from us to us.
No. From the team.
Thank you so much.
I would like to take this opportunity to thank Director, Professor Manoj Pant, Registrar Dr. P.K. Gupta, for helping us making this event a possibility despite the challenges posed by the current times. I would also like to thank the awardees for joining us on campus. I would like to thank Dr. Neeti Nandini for guiding us throughout the planning of this event. My heartfelt thanks to the Computer Center, Mr. Panda and Mr. Bala, for helping us set up this medium. I'd like to thank all the alumni for tuning in from across the globe. Last but not the least, I'd like to thank my team from the Alumni Relations Committee, the Organizing Committee, Ajay Mathur from Pixel, and the students from the current batches. We would now break for a few minutes before we move to the next session. Thank you, everyone.